Should we show it to him? Why not? This is a story about Mary Baker. And all of you out there who are very curious about how I would arrive at the science of my mind in regard to Mary Baker are going to have to listen to what I have to say about it. Why is this true? The idea about not being a body, the idea of what you heard about not being a body are the teaching that Mary Baker and I shared this morning at breakfast. And I know this seems a little incredible to you because everything seems incredible to you. The notation of the science of my mind in its capacity in what we call a holographic universe. Do you see this? Mary Baker is famous for teaching in the science of the mind that your body is not real, and that if you're going to have it at all, it will be a reflection of what you think you are in the idea of the holographic universe which represents you. Those who have heard it, okay, those who have heard it like we had this morning, in the return that she wants you to see, in the idea of Charlie Anderson. Charlie Anderson, how about that? My great-grandfather was a good friend of Mary Baker. They came from New Hampshire, from Bow, New Hampshire. And the idea of the Andersons, all right, in the notation of the manner in which you would come to know this, I don't know if you're interested in it or not, it really doesn't make any difference, because the manner in which I can reflect to myself ideas of association would allow you, if the teaching of Mary Baker is true, that you can get a reflection of Charlie Anderson as well as you can get a reflection of me. Now, the idea that we would dine together, the idea that you would be able to, because we're using the mind of Mary Baker, what you're hearing are obviously Civil War songs, because at the time that she decided to do this, she had become captured by the idea of alternatives of science that would allow her to heal the sick and raise the dead. Now, I'm using the science of my mind very simply because in the reflection of light that I'm trying to get from you or for you, we could at any moment actually show any science of mind that we wanted to show, all right? I want to undo this, okay? I want you to see, you've given me the name Charlie Anderson. Now, the notation that's my great-grandfather. Now, the idea that my grandfather, okay, and my father knew of the associations of you may or may not be of value. Now, if you want them to be of value, they will be as much value to you as in the idea that in my training, I teach holograms of light rather than depending on images that I want to be true. Do you see that? In other words, let's use Mary Baker. Okay? The idea that she is going to tell you that the body that you use to represent reflections of yourself is not real are what Christian Science is. You know it, and I know that you know it, and I know you like the idea of being able to depend on it. Now, the idea, and I'll read just a little bit to you about Christian Science, in the idea that the reflection of light that you're getting is actually just as much a mistake as the idea you have of the formulation of yourself. Could you see that? Let's try it with Mary Baker. what she says, and what all of us now are beginning to teach, in the discovery she made in a death episode that she had along with me, say very simply that the body is not real. And therefore the world that I occupy is also false in the idea, and I'm required to get a reflection of it. Okay? Listen with me just for a minute, just a little science. This is the Christian Science book that I used on this other hour of the Sunday schoolness of Mary Baker. And we talked about it this morning, and she said to me, to Charlie, did she call you Charlie? Yeah. She said to me, why don't you tell them about being a reflection of light in the idea, so that although it appears to be different, what it can be is a different time without necessarily being more real than the other time. Okay? Let's try it in Christian Science, okay? Will you listen with me? Listen. The temporal and unreal never touch the eternal and real. The mutable and imperfect never touch the immutable and perfect. The inharmonious and self-destructive never touch the harmonious and self-existent. Spirit is God, soul. Therefore, soul is not in matter. The theory that soul and spirit and intelligence inhabits matter is taught by the schools of the idea of reflection of light, and it's not true. This theory is unscientific because obviously if there's a single whole, it would have to come from the single source. The universe reflects and expresses the divine substance or mind of God. Therefore, God is seen only in the spiritual universe and spiritual man as the sun is seen in the ray of light which goes out from it. God is revealed only in that which reflects life and truth and love, which manifests God's attributes and power, even as the human likeness thrown upon the mirror repeats the color, form, and action of the person in front of the mirror. And I'm back for a moment because I want you to see what a good scientific definition of a hologram is. A hologram is a reflection of the idea of the substance of your body in the universal mind, which offers you a conclusion of a variance in which you cannot not believe in the reflection of yourself that it's you. Now, Jesus reminds you that in his resurrection, when he undergoes his experience, this is Mary Baker now, along with all scientists of Christianity, okay, the reflection that he presents you with is a true reflection of the idea he has in his mind about the singularity of the power of his body in the reflection of light. Now, you listen to how Mary Baker says this in the idea of the science of the hologram of light. Okay? Will you listen with me? Few persons comprehend what Christian Science means by the word reflection. To himself, mortal and material man seems to be substance, but his sense of substance involves air and therefore is material, temporal. On the other hand, the immortal spiritual man is really substantial and reflects the eternal substance or spirit which mortals hope for. He reflects the divine, which constitutes the only real and eternal entity. This reflection seems to mortal sense transcendental because the spiritual man's substantiality transcends mortal vision and is revealed only through divine science.